brother. They had a Coca-Cola commercial years ago, right? And they went all over the earth. You heard these people speaking in their language, but the thing that you noticed each and every time that was homogenous was Coca-Cola. It didn't translate. There's no other word. But I'm just saying, that's any name. That's any name. When you go like you had the privilege to meet a lot of people from other nations. When they say the word Jehovah, it can be totally different. If you go to Chinese, it's the way of pronunciation of things. If somebody tells you their name is their name. You don't get to just go and say, and you don't get to just change their name to make it fit your thing. The name is the name. That's a trick. Right here. There's a lot about that. I mean, the different languages is a different pronunciation of things. But you know, he didn't give a different pronunciation of things. That's why. That's one of the reasons why he went ahead and switched up the languages. Because at first, if you understand.
Tell him about the name Lord.
If I speak another language, right, and I'm talking to you, if you're saying something that I don't understand, then we have to go to the universal understanding. That's how, in the old days, you understand that when people came to Egypt, all the people didn't speak the language of the Egyptians, but there was universal things that people understood, brother. I'm trying to let you know that. You didn't get to just come in and call the Pharaoh what you wanted to call him. You had to call him what they was calling him. That's like that. That's a more modernized version saying that would be like when in Rome you have to act like the Romans. Okay? So that's what was going. That's what was going on. See, right now this is one of the daughters of Babylon we in. So you drinking from the cup. You know what I mean? You drinking from the cup of the whore if you believe and take on that it's okay to change the Most High's name when he told you what his name was. And he said this is going to be my memorial forever.
And he made it a commandment.
Switch that up. You know what I mean? He gave the divine name he gave in Exodus 3 and 15. Okay? When you go into the Hebrew, it was Yod-Heh Waw.
Hey.
Okay? Now, you have some people that translate that as Yahweh, and your book even has that. Even though y'all using Jehovah, I talked to many of it's not Yahweh. It's Yahweh. They said it's Yahweh. English, they wasn't speaking English. English is the newest language on earth. It's the newest language on earth. And then if you look at the English, it's a bastardization of Hebrew. They got so many English words that have come from even the alphabet. Nobody spoke the original language. Only what do you mean nobody? I mean, he wasn't born. Well, I mean through captivity. We're speaking because that's what I study other languages though. So I don't have to just talk to you and communicate with you in the English. I'm understand another language and learn other languages. When we start to understand like word origin and etymology, like when you think of even in the English when we say that when you talk about the lettering system, you say alphabet, but in the Hebrew. The first letter is the aleph and the second letter is the bait. That's where they get the whole understanding of even how to put phonetic languages together. Because at the beginning, it tells you in Genesis 11 and 1 that the whole earth spoke the same language and it was of the same mind. Okay? So we have to understand this then. If this was the case, then more than likely the Adamic language, which means that the language that the Most High was communicating to Adam and his offspring is, and then all the way up to Nimrod and the Tower and the Tower of Babel. That means that they probably all were speaking Hebrew, but then you got Eber, right, who didn't roll with the building, and so he got to keep the language. That's why in the Hebrew they actually call it Eberit, because Eber was actually the first Hebrew. You know what I mean? As far as after the language is split up.
what I'm saying is, because the our so-called translation of Yahweh or whatever, Jehovah. I mean, it doesn't, you doesn't, you're saying it doesn't hold no water. Because
no, you can't use Jehovah. It's that. Actually, man, there is if you actually break the word down, Hava is like mischief. You know what I'm saying? It's like Lord of Mischief. Yeah.
It's destruction.
His name is not his name. He never told you to call him. Listen, we don't even use the O sound. I mean, there is some letters there's vowel points that they put in. It's not translation, man. That's butchering. A translation actually just tells you the meaning. And see, there's a difference. It means it actually has a past, present, and future tense to the word. It is like I am he who is, who was, and who will be. You know what I mean? So it's like when he first told him I am that I am, and he said
it's not the same feel. That's the same meaning that we have for Jehovah. It's not the.
But that's not what it means, though.
The name Yahweh means.
I said, yeah, what the name Yod-Heh-Uhe means. I didn't say what the name Jehovah J. Okay, there's no J.
I said Yahweh.
Okay.
If that's the same meaning to us as Jehovah, because that's his name. It calls it I am to be, calls it I am to call, right?
What do you? Okay, so what do you?
The same meaning for Jehovah.
It doesn't mean that, bro.
You just said.
I tell you why they mean. That name has a meaning. Your name has a different meaning.
It is what it is. I mean, that name means exactly what that Bible verse says. I am.
So when Amos is 2 in the book of, I think it's Hosea, is it 2 when he tell him 2 and 16 or 2 and 18 somewhere around there, where he says I'm going to wipe the names of the Baalim from your lips. But see, you got all of these names y'all rocking with. Everybody on the earth is rocking with all these names. So he gonna wipe them all from your lips, bro. So it's gonna be one name.
We call upon his name and the meaning of his name. Because, I mean, we can see it, man. We can see it through the work. When we call upon his name, and we do things according to his will, by his name, I mean, it's nothing.
Brother, you should come with us today, brother.
He's not going to do that.
I mean, brother, but today is the Shabbat, though. You should be resting right now. You can't discriminate.
Right?
No.
So why do other religions, so-called, in union with each other on the same mind frame?
That's because just like the word you just used, religion. You know the word, the prefix on that part, re means to do again, right? And the word re is a prefix. Anytime you see re on the front of a word, it means to do again. Religion is the binding. So now you're talking about we already had what? Like religion? That's more like one of them Latin, like the Latin, Spanish, Greek, from those romantic cultures. But yeah, it just means to do again. We was never calling that stuff religion. This is just, we did law, statute, and commandment. It wasn't no religion. You know what I mean? When you go through the scriptures, it talks about the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Yaqub. You know what I mean? So this, and connecting it, when they say that, they actually connecting this entity to genealogy. They connecting it to the promise from Abraham, Yishak, you know what I mean, and Yaqub, on down to the 12 tribes of Yasharal. Now we teach that we are the 12 tribes. We are the true Israelites of the book. So, you know, all the commandments.
What about do you believe in Jesus Christ or Yeshua?
Yahusha, right? And absolutely I do. Because They basing time on it. How could you not? The whole earth is based. Now they try to say BCE. It means BC was when we was growing up. It was always before Christ, but they switched it up to say BCE before common era now. But we always know that they base time on this individual. The whole 2016 is because they are counting that as 2016 years since Yahushua left the earth. Okay, so
you believe the promises and the way he worshipped God
through the law. He did it because you can't love the Most High if you don't keep the commandment. He tells you that in John.
But you know that the law was it was kind of
Who tore it up? Who tore it up? Who tore it up? When did they tear it up?
That's why he was going to this and then straighten them up. You had the Pharisees.
Yeah, he was woe to the scribes and the Pharisees.
That order of worshiping God was wrong. He showed them.
Absolutely. Not all the Hebrews were doing that. There was a lot of stuff going on. So the time of the Greeks and the Romans, once they came on the scene, they brought Hellenistic.
Right? Romans, they were testing them to be taught as the nations. They were accepted, right?
Well, actually, we didn't accept. They were enforcing their own ideology. That's why when you read the book of Maccabees, they pull the Apocrypha out. But when you read the book of the Maccabees, you see that it tells you that once the Greeks came in, wickedness multiplied in the earth. They started making the Israelites do things that were contrary to the law. And then we started liking their ways. And so it tells you that the priests, and this is before the Romans now. This is the Greeks. This is the Romans came. The Romans were right around the time of Yahushua, but there was a period about 137 years before that where the Greeks had come in and Hellenized all of Israel, all of Judea, and Israel was pretty much gone, but all of Judea, and so that's what they call that period. They called it Hellenistic because they were doing stuff that was contrary to the law. The only thing it was going to do was lead them to Sheol, or that's the Hebrew word for hell. You see what I mean? But the law was never done away with, brother. Don't ever listen. It's not okay for me to kill you.
No, yeah, I never did say that. But
we got to keep it right.
What people understand is, like, the law is like more of a principle than just like a command. It has to be something in your heart.
You got to have the ruach to keep the law. Like today, brother. Like, do y'all believe in the 10 sayings or the Decalogue, or what people know as the 10 Commandments?
Yeah, I believe it.
Do y'all roll with the 10 Commandments?
We believe in it, but it's like,
do you like all of them?
We believe in it, but we don't go by the law. We go by the law of Christ, which all that is all it's summed up in one law.
But today is the Sabbath day, right? Today is the Shabbat.
That's what I'm trying to find the scripture for you to show you. I believe you were going to say something about the Sabbath.
Yeah, today, because that's what today is. This is the day of the rest, and it never changed.
You remember the account when Jesus healed the man on the Sabbath?
Yeah.
And
it's not wrong to do good works on the Shabbat.
What's wrong with? Well, you saying like we don't.
You're supposed to be like resting on the Shabbat. There's no stores. You should be.
It is a commandment.
Where? Your sister came talk that one day, man. I didn't mean to just lay into it with my elbow and then on knees and all that, because he went to somewhere in Matthew and it didn't even say that. I was like, wow.
It did say that.
They say knock on people's doors.
They go make disciples.
Okay.
And baptize them in the name of the Father.
Okay.
He said go. Then he didn't say
Yeah, we
specific day or something like
right. He didn't say specific day. Right.
He said we could just go.
Now did he say go make? Did he say go make Christians or go make followers? Because you gotta remember, you gotta do what Yahushua did. And he was a Hebrew, so he didn't know who you're not. No. If Yahushua had fringes on his garment, you don't have fringes on your garment. He had a beard. He was. Listen, brother, this is not no game, man. I'm serious, man. Because I tried to talk to y'all, brother. Y'all come in a different spirit, man. And
the Holy Spirit is the Spirit of God.
It's not the spirit of. It's not. Well, it might be one of them guys, but it ain't.
We God.
One of them guys out there that y'all dealing with. No, he would never tell you that. That's messed up, brother. You can't shrug your shoulders at that, man. You told me earlier that your book says that the name was Yod He Who He. You said that, man. You keep saying Jehovah.
Yeah, I think I don't speak English.
It doesn't matter what you speak English. Look, man, I had a friend when I was in elementary school. His name was Kwansai. He came from Laos. And when he came from Laos, that was his name. And when he came to class with us, that was his name. He didn't change his name to Carl, you know what I'm saying, to make it sound good for us. The names don't translate. That's why I'm saying when people came into Egypt, whatever language they spoke, they didn't get to Pharaoh calling them. They had to call him what he by his nomenclature, or it would have been a sign of disrespect.
What could we do? We could work on
and that God might be pleased with it. You know what I'm saying? That God.
Does your pleasure when we do count or God?
I mean, your God might be cool with what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? But I was gonna say, man, come to the Shabbat. We got to have we gonna be doing Shabbat class up at the movie theater up at Dolan, Covington, man. You know, we get together and worship. You know what I mean, and do it in the name of the Most High, man. And you know what I mean. You get to meet other brothers and sisters who got the Spirit, man, the Holy Spirit, and they doing.
Transformation, I was like you one time. I dabbed another thing.
I don't have nothing else. I'm straight out the book. I'm the Torah, the prophets, the gospel. That's my thing, brother. I'll go earth.
Hello, if you can hear me, ask him where.
What you say? Say that again. My brother's on the phone. Say that, bro.
I just want to know who gave you that religion.
Yeah, I want to know that too. Who told you to be a Jehovah's Witness? Yeah, where in the scriptures does this say be a Jehovah's?
I mean, I'm not even asking about scriptures. I'm just saying, just period. Like, how long ago was that? Was that the religion that we knew in Africa? Because I mean, if you go and you look in Africa and you look in a lot of places in Africa where we supposedly originally came from, the only religion that I see in Africa that was not enforced onto us that's still going on is Hebrew. We everywhere. We in South Africa, we in Ghana, we in Nigeria. I have friends in Ethiopia. I have friends in the Congos that I know on Facebook that are Hebrews. I mean, huge cultures of Hebrew, and then you see it in the Egyptian scriptures and stuff like that. That was the only religion that was never forced on them. Islam and Christianity was all forced onto us.
Islam and Christianity.
All forced onto us. Yeah, they forced it on everybody. They enforced it on everybody. That was their way. That was Ishmael and that was Esau's way.
Like you said, a Christian. You got something on you. A Christian, right?
Oh, and
it's actually the Greek word is Christos, but the Hebrew word would have been Mashiach, right? And the brother was anointed, right? And so he was an anointed man. So when we talking about following the anointed one, you have to do what the anointed one did, or else you're not a follower of the anointed one. Yahusha had fringes on. Yahusha. It don't matter, because I got Zephaniah 1 and 8 for you. I got Zephaniah. It's the way you walk. Zephaniah 1 and 8. It's the way you walk. Not what you how you look. We just it ain't. You gotta walk right too, but you gotta look right, man. The scriptures tell you, Yahusha said, you can tell a man by his countenance. I can tell a man by his countenance. I can tell a man by his countenance. If I walk around and don't have that in my mind and my heart, and I walk around, you got people out there walking in the night in Israel, in the Middle East. Where would you do? But they're not walking, doing what he's doing. Some are, but some are though. Okay. There's a lot of people that are though. Just because I was not. I'm not living following Christ. Absolutely not. It's not. Absolutely not. We don't absolutely not. Absolutely. It's just like there's flesh on. Most High said, told us that you need to have be circumcised. So it's not just meaning circumcision of the heart. That's an actual circumcision. That's an actual circumcision too. But so you, but did not the other nations, was they accepted? Was they not accepted after that? Yeah, but you're not. They were other nations. Okay, you accuse of the other nations then, but the other nations still have to deal with Yah. The other nations still got to deal with Yah. Just like in Zechariah, the 14th chapter, it tell you that at the end time, all the nations gonna have to come back to Jerusalem and keep the feast.
When they came out of Egypt, there was a mixed multitude. There was a mixed multitude.
That's why we were to teach the nation. Can't be no Gentile. Not by what I experience or anything like that. But the Mashiach follows the law, though. That's the problem y'all not getting. When you read John 14:9, he said, keep the commandments. When they ask him, what's the most important commandment of all? Love God with their whole heart.
Ooh, thank you. I was going to actually bring that up. I was actually going to ask him. Yeah, ask him.
When you actually understand the 10 Commandments.
Ask him why was there 2 tablets? If there's 2 laws and there's 2 tablets. Why can't he write all the laws on one? Because one is for how to love God with all your heart and all your might. Those are the first 4, and the last 6 is how to love your neighbor. And he says that the laws and the prophet rest on those 2 great commandments, which are those 2 laws.
Man, y'all dealing with the right thing, man. We I know, man.
All you have to ever do, all he ever asks is to, and what.
The 10 Commandments. Listen, brother. This is what I want to say. The 10 Commandments, right? You got the first 4 basically telling you what you have to do for the Most High, right? And that's why I said they hinge on them too, because then the last ones are how you deal with your brothers. But it also the thing it tells you that you before them. Okay, it's way more. Yeah, it is more than 10 Commandments, but
it's all based off the 10 Commandments.
A lot of the commandments deal with the land, so you have to be in the land and have to be actually an Israelite to keep them laws. But then those 10 sayings, those are universal.
That's since day one. That's the 10 Commandments been since day one. Abraham kept the commandments. Abraham